Hello, everyone. Welcome to our podcast, English with Leo and Stella, the place where you can practice your English, listen, learn, and have fun. I'm your host, Leo, and I'm really happy you're here with us today. How are you doing, Stella?
Hi, Leo. Hi, everyone. I'm great. Thank you. I'm excited to be here and to talk about something that is super important for all English learners, something we all want to achieve. How about you, Leo? Are you ready?
Absolutely. And that something is, drum roll, please, fluency in English. Today, we're going to talk about the only way to become fluent in English. Yes, you heard it right. The only way. Sounds interesting, right?
Definitely. Many people want to speak English like a native speaker, or at least very confidently. But sometimes they don't know how to do it or get stuck in the middle of their learning journey. So, today, we want to help you understand what fluency really means, and most importantly, how you can reach it.
Exactly. Because fluency is more than just knowing grammar rules or memorizing words. It's about being able to understand and use English in everyday life. In real conversations, when you travel, when you work, or even when you watch your favorite TV shows.
Yes, and sometimes people think fluency means speaking perfectly without any mistakes. But that's not true. Fluency means being able to express your ideas clearly and comfortably, even if you make a few small errors. It's about communication, making yourself understood and understanding others.
That's a very important point, Stella. So, in this episode, we'll talk about why some common ways of learning English don't lead to fluency and what really works. We'll share easy and practical tips that anyone can use, whether you are a beginner, intermediate, or advanced learner.
And the best part? This podcast itself is a great way for you to practice your listening and speaking skills. You can listen to our conversation, repeat what we say, and even try to speak along with us. Learning English can be fun and natural, just like talking with friends.
So, get ready to learn some helpful ideas and new ways to practice English every day. By the end of this episode, you will understand the secret to fluency and hopefully feel more motivated to keep going on your English journey.
We're so happy you joined us today. Let's get started and discover the only way to become fluent in English.
Let's do it! All right, Stella. Now that we have introduced our topic, let's start with a very important question. What does fluency really mean? Many people say they want to be fluent in English, but do they know what fluency actually is?
Great question, Leo. Fluency can sometimes be confusing because people have different ideas about it. But simply put, fluency means being able to speak and understand English smoothly and naturally. It's like when you can talk without stopping too much or feeling stuck.
So, it's not about speaking perfectly or using complicated words all the time.
Exactly! Many learners think fluency means you must speak without any mistakes, use perfect grammar, or have a huge vocabulary. But this is a big misunderstanding. Fluency is more about communication than perfection.
That makes sense. So, can you say fluency is being comfortable and confident with the language?
Yes, that's right. Fluency is about feeling confident enough to say what you want, to understand others easily, and to keep the conversation going. You don't have to be perfect. Even native speakers make mistakes sometimes.
I like that. It sounds much less scary. What are some other misunderstandings about fluency that you see often?
Well, one big misunderstanding is that people think they need to study grammar books all the time to become fluent. While grammar is important, focusing only on grammar rules can slow you down. You can know all the grammar in the world, but if you don't practice speaking and listening, you won't become fluent.
Right? Because fluency is about real communication, not just knowing rules on paper.
Exactly. Another misunderstanding is that learners expect fluency to happen very quickly, like in a few weeks or months. But becoming fluent usually takes time and practice. It's a journey, not a race.
So patience is very important.
Yes, and understanding what fluency really means helps you set the right goals. Instead of aiming for perfect English, aim to be clear and confident. It's okay if you make mistakes. The important thing is that you keep talking and listening.
That's a powerful idea. When learners understand fluency like this, they can stop feeling afraid of making mistakes and focus on practicing more.
Absolutely. Also, fluency is different for everyone. For some people, it means speaking every day with friends or coworkers. For others, it means understanding movies or reading books in English without too much trouble.
So fluency can be different based on what you want to use English for.
Yes, it depends on your goals and what makes you feel comfortable. The key is to practice regularly, listen to real English, and speak as much as you can.
Great! So, to sum up this part, fluency means being able to communicate smoothly and naturally. It's not about being perfect, but about being confident and comfortable with English.
Exactly. And knowing this will help you stay motivated and enjoy your learning process. Fluency is possible for everyone with the right practice and mindset.
Awesome! That clears up a lot. Now, I'm excited to talk about the biggest mistake learners make that stops them from becoming fluent. But first, Stella, anything else you want to add here about fluency?
Just this. Remember, fluency is a skill, like riding a bike or playing an instrument. The more you practice, the better you get. So be patient and kind to yourself. That's the first step to success.
All right, Stella, now that we understand what fluency really means, let's talk about something important, the biggest mistake many English learners make. This mistake actually stops a lot of people from becoming fluent. Are you ready to share it?
I'm ready, Leo. And I think this mistake is very common. Many learners believe that if they just study grammar rules perfectly, they will become fluent. But that's not true. Grammar is important, but it's not the only key to fluency.
Right. I hear this a lot. I need to learn all the grammar first. Or, I can't speak because my grammar isn't perfect. But here's the truth. Focusing only on grammar can actually slow down your progress.
Yes, because when learners focus too much on grammar, they become afraid to speak or make mistakes. They want to be perfect before they talk, but that stops them from practicing. And practice is the most important part of becoming fluent.
Exactly. So, one big mistake is thinking grammar alone will make you fluent. But fluency comes from using English in real life. Speaking, listening, and understanding. You learn grammar naturally over time when you practice.
Another mistake is thinking that memorizing lots of vocabulary words will make you fluent quickly. Learning new words is good, but if you don't use them in conversations, you will forget them. Vocabulary needs to be active. That means you need to speak and write with it.
Good point. Also, some learners only practice reading and writing, but forget about speaking and listening. That's a problem because fluency is mostly about speaking and understanding spoken English. You need to train your ears and your mouth.
Exactly. Listening to real English helps you get used to the sounds, rhythm, and natural speed of speech. And speaking regularly helps you build confidence and muscle memory. Your brain and mouth learn to work together to produce English smoothly.
Another myth is that you need to study English for hours every day to get fluent. But the truth is, quality matters more than quantity. Even 10 or 15 minutes of focused, daily practice with real English is better than many hours of boring grammar drills.
Yes, and the biggest mistake is losing motivation because of these myths. When learners think fluency is all about grammar tests or huge vocabulary lists, they get frustrated and give up.
So to avoid this mistake, it's important to practice all parts of English, especially speaking and listening every day. Don't wait until you feel ready or perfect. Start talking and listening now, even if it's just a little bit.
And don't worry about mistakes. Mistakes are a natural part of learning. The more you speak, the faster you improve. Imagine learning to ride a bike. You fall a few times before you can ride well. English is the same.
So, the biggest mistake is putting grammar first and practice second. Instead, practice first. Speak, listen, and communicate. And learn grammar naturally as you go.
Yes, that's the secret. And if you keep practicing with real English every day, you will see progress. Fluency is not a magic trick. It's the result of practice, patience, and confidence.
That's some great advice, Stella. So for all our listeners, remember, don't get stuck on grammar or vocabulary only. Use English every day, speak as much as you can, and enjoy the process.
Absolutely. Keep practicing, and you will get there. Fluency is possible for everyone who stays consistent and keeps a positive attitude.
Okay, Stella, we've talked about what fluency really means and the biggest mistake learners make. Now, let's get to the heart of today's episode. The only way to become fluent in English. What is it?
This is the most important part, Leo. The only way to become fluent is through consistent practice with real English. That means using English regularly in ways that people actually speak and listen to every day.
When you say real English, what do you mean exactly? Is that different from the English in textbooks?
Yes, it's very different. Textbook English is often very formal or perfect, but real English is natural, sometimes messy, and full of expressions, slang, and everyday words. Real English is what you hear in conversations with friends, on the street, in movies, or podcasts.
So, practicing with real English means listening and speaking the language as people use it in their daily lives. Why is this so important?
Because this kind of practice helps your brain get used to how English sounds and how people actually talk. When you listen to real English, you learn new phrases, pronunciation, and the rhythm of the language naturally. This helps you understand native speakers better and speak more smoothly yourself.
That sounds very useful. But some learners feel shy or afraid to speak because they worry about making mistakes. How can consistent practice help with that?
Great question! The more you practice speaking regularly, the more confident you become. It's like training a muscle. At first, it feels hard, but the more you use it, the stronger it gets. And remember, making mistakes is part of the learning process. It's how we improve.
So even if you make small mistakes, keep speaking and listening, and fluency will come with time?
Exactly. Consistent practice means speaking and listening every day, even if it's just for 10 or 15 minutes. Small, regular practice is better than long but rare sessions. This daily habit builds your skills step by step.
Can you give some examples of what real English practice looks like? How can learners include it in their daily life?
Of course, there are many ways to practice real English. For listening, you can listen to podcasts, watch movies or TV shows, listen to music, or even follow English speakers on YouTube. Try to choose content you enjoy. This makes learning fun and natural.
What about speaking practice? Sometimes it's hard to find people to talk to in English.
True, but there are many options. You can try language exchange apps where you talk with native speakers or other learners. You can also practice speaking by yourself. For example, by repeating phrases you hear, describing your day out loud, or shadowing speakers in podcasts or videos.
Shadowing. What's that?
Shadowing is a great technique where you listen to a sentence or phrase in English and then immediately repeat it out loud, trying to copy the pronunciation and rhythm. It helps you improve your speaking and listening skills at the same time.
That sounds fun and useful. So, by combining different activities, listening to podcasts, watching shows, speaking with others, or by yourself, learners can practice real English regularly.
Exactly. The key is variety and consistency. Use different types of real English content so you don't get bored, and make it a daily habit. This will train your brain to understand and produce English naturally.
I love how you said, make it a daily habit. Consistency is really the secret, right?
Yes, Leo, consistency is everything. Even if you only practice 10 minutes a day, if you do it every day, you will improve much faster than if you study for hours one day and then stop for a week.
That's very encouraging. So, listeners, if you want to become fluent, remember, practice English every day with real, natural English. Listen to conversations, podcasts, movies, things people really say. Speak as much as you can. Don't fear mistakes, and keep going.
And don't forget, this podcast is here to help you with that practice. You can listen, repeat, and speak with us. Learning English doesn't have to be hard when you use real English every day.
Absolutely. So, to wrap up this part, the only way to become fluent is consistent practice with real English, speaking and listening every day, using the language as it's actually spoken.
Yes, that's the key. Keep practicing with real English, and fluency will come naturally.
All right, Stella. Now that we know consistent practice with real English is the only way to become fluent, let's talk about how to practice effectively. Many learners try to practice, but sometimes they don't know the best way to do it. What practical tips can we share with our listeners?
Great idea, Leo. Let's start with a very simple but powerful tip. Speak every day, even if it's just for a few minutes. It doesn't matter if you only have 5 or 10 minutes. Speaking regularly helps your brain and mouth get used to forming English words and sentences.
That's true. Many learners think they need to speak perfectly or have a conversation with a native speaker to practice. But really, you can start by speaking to yourself. For example, talk about what you're doing, describe things around you, or tell a story out loud.
Yes, self-talk is a great way to practice without pressure. You can also repeat phrases or sentences you hear in podcasts, videos, or movies. This helps you improve pronunciation and speaking flow. It's like training your mouth to move naturally in English.
Speaking of listening, listening to English every day is just as important as speaking. When you listen regularly, your brain learns to understand different accents, speeds, and words. This helps you follow real conversations better.
Absolutely. And listening can be fun. You can choose topics you like, such as music, sports, cooking, or travel. The key is to listen to English that you enjoy, so you stay motivated and interested.
Now, another important tip is to use simple and useful phrases. Don't try to learn too many difficult or long sentences at once. Start with easy expressions that you can use in daily life. For example, greetings like, "How are you?" or common questions like, "What do you like to do?"
Right. When you use simple phrases often, they become natural. Then you can add more complex sentences little by little. This builds your confidence because you already know useful language to communicate.
And one thing I want to remind everyone is, don't fear mistakes. Mistakes are normal and important. They show that you are learning. The more you speak, the more mistakes you will make. But that's how you improve.
Yes, Leo. In fact, making mistakes is a sign you are practicing and pushing yourself. Don't get stuck trying to be perfect. Instead, focus on communicating your ideas. People will understand you, even if your grammar or pronunciation isn't perfect.
Now, let's talk about some simple activities that can help you practice effectively. One great method is called shadowing. Have you tried that, Stella?
I have. Shadowing is when you listen to a short sentence or phrase in English and immediately repeat it out loud, trying to copy the speaker's pronunciation, rhythm, and intonation. It's like following their voice closely or shadowing them.
Exactly. Shadowing helps improve your speaking fluency and listening skills at the same time. It trains your brain and mouth to work together naturally.
Another activity is repeating useful phrases. You can write down or save common expressions and practice saying them out loud. This builds a good phrase bank in your mind that you can use in real conversations.
And if you want to practice speaking with other people, language exchange is a great option. There are many websites and apps where you can find people who want to learn your language, and you can practice English with them. It's a fun way to practice real conversations and make new friends.
Yes, Leo. Language exchange gives you the chance to speak regularly and hear different accents and styles of English. Plus, it's a friendly environment where both people help each other learn.
To summarize, here are the key tips for effective practice. Speak every day, even if it's just a little. Listen to English daily. Use simple, useful phrases. Don't be afraid of mistakes. And try activities like shadowing, repeating phrases, and language exchange.
That's right. Remember, learning English is a journey. The more you practice with these tips, the faster you will become fluent. And most importantly, enjoy the process.
Thanks for those great tips, Stella. And to all our listeners, don't wait for the perfect time or place to practice. Start now, keep it simple, and make English a part of your daily life.
Yes, keep practicing, and little by little, you'll see amazing progress. You've got this.
All right, Stella. We've covered what fluency really means, the biggest mistakes, and how to practice effectively. Now, I think it's time to talk about something very important: patience and consistency. What do you think about that?
Yes, Leo. Patience and consistency are like the secret ingredients for learning English. Without them, it's easy to feel frustrated or want to give up. But if you stay patient and keep practicing every day, you will get better and better.
That's true. So many learners start excited, but after a few weeks or months, they don't see fast results and feel like quitting. They might say, "Why am I not fluent yet?" Or, "Maybe English isn't for me." But the truth is, fluency takes time and effort.
Exactly. Learning a language is like planting a tree. You don't see it grow big and strong in one day. You water it, take care of it, and over time it grows. Fluency is the same. You need to be patient and give yourself time to improve.
That's a great example. Sometimes learners expect quick results, but real progress is slow and steady. And it's normal to have ups and downs during the journey.
Yes, some days you feel like you understand a lot, and other days you might forget words or get confused. That's okay. The important thing is to keep going, even when it feels hard.
And consistency means practicing every day, even if it's just a little. It's better to study 10 minutes a day than 3 hours one day and then stop for a week.
Right. Consistency helps your brain remember what you learn and build strong habits. When you practice regularly, English becomes a natural part of your life.
But sometimes life gets busy, and it's hard to find time. What can our listeners do when they feel like they're too busy or tired?
Great question, Leo. The key is to find small moments for practice. Maybe listen to a podcast while cooking or repeat a few phrases during a walk. Even a little practice is better than none.
That's encouraging. So even if you can't study for hours, keep your English alive every day in small ways.
Yes. And another thing is to celebrate small successes. Maybe you understood a difficult sentence, or you spoke with someone in English for the first time. These moments show progress and keep you motivated.
Celebrating small wins is so important. It reminds you that you are moving forward, even if it feels slow sometimes.
And don't compare yourself to others. Everyone learns at their own pace. Some people might learn faster, some slower. And that's okay. What matters is your own progress and dedication.
Yes, patience is also about being kind to yourself. Don't get angry or frustrated if you make mistakes or forget things. Learning is a process, and mistakes are part of it.
Exactly, Leo. When you stay patient and consistent, you build confidence and fluency step by step. It might take months or even years, but the journey is worth it.
And remember, we're here to support you on this journey. Keep listening to podcasts like this one, keep practicing, and don't give up.
That's right. If you keep your patience and practice consistently, fluency will come. Believe in yourself and enjoy every step of the learning process.
So, to all our listeners, keep watering your English tree every day. Be patient with yourself and trust the process. You are doing great.
Yes, keep going, stay positive, and fluency will be yours sooner than you think.
Stella, before we finish today's episode, I think it's important to talk about some extra tools that can help learners practice English more easily. There are so many resources out there, podcasts, apps, videos. It can get confusing. What do you think?
I totally agree, Leo. There are tons of helpful tools, but it's important to choose the right ones that fit your level and interests. Using good resources can make learning easier and even fun.
Right. For example, podcasts like this one are great because you can listen anytime, while walking, cooking, or relaxing. Podcasts help improve your listening and pronunciation skills.
Yes. And there are many apps designed for language learners, like Duolingo and others. These apps offer vocabulary, grammar practice, and chances to chat with real people.
Videos are also very useful. You can watch movies, TV shows, or YouTube channels made for English learners. Some channels use subtitles and slow speech, which helps you understand better.
But here's a tip. Don't just pick the most popular or hardest materials. Choose content that matches your current level. If it's too hard, you might get frustrated. If it's too easy, you might get bored.
Exactly. Start with simpler materials that you understand most of, then slowly move to more difficult ones as you improve. This keeps you motivated and helps you learn naturally.
Another thing is to choose topics you like. If you love cooking, watch cooking videos in English. If you enjoy sports, listen to sports podcasts. When you're interested, learning feels less like a chore.
Making learning fun and interesting is key. You can also use games, quizzes, or challenges to practice vocabulary and grammar in a playful way.
And don't forget to mix different tools. For example, listen to a podcast, watch a video on the same topic, then try speaking about it yourself. This helps you use English in different ways.
That's a great idea. So, to sum up, use podcasts, apps, and videos that fit your level, choose topics you enjoy, and try to make learning fun. This way, you'll stay motivated and keep improving.
Yes, Leo, remember, the best tools are the ones you enjoy using and can practice with every day.
Thanks for those tips, Stella. And to our listeners, try different resources, find what works for you, and have fun with your English learning journey. Wow, Stella, we've covered a lot today. Maybe it's time to quickly recap the most important points for our listeners. What do you think?
Definitely, Leo. Let's remind everyone what we talked about so they can remember the key steps to becoming fluent in English.
Okay. First, we talked about what fluency really means. It's not about perfect grammar or knowing every word. Fluency means you can understand and communicate comfortably in everyday situations.
Then, we shared the biggest mistake learners make focusing only on grammar and vocabulary without enough practice speaking and listening. That actually slows progress.
Right. So the most important thing is consistent practice with real English. That means using English every day with natural conversations, podcasts, movies, and everyday talk.
We also gave practical tips on how to practice effectively. Speak a little every day, listen regularly, use simple phrases, don't fear mistakes, and try activities like shadowing and language exchange.
And we talked about how patience and consistency are your best friends. Learning a language takes time, so keep practicing every day, even when it feels hard.
Finally, we shared some great tools like podcasts, apps, and videos, and reminded you to choose materials that match your level and interests to make learning fun.
That's a lot of useful advice. So, listeners, remember, practice real English every day. Be patient with yourself and enjoy the journey.
Yes. And don't forget, this podcast is here to help you practice. Listen, repeat, and speak with us. Use each episode as your daily English practice.
Exactly. Whether you have 5 minutes or 30, practicing with us will help you improve your speaking and listening skills.
We believe in you. Fluency is possible for everyone who keeps practicing with real English and stays patient.
So keep going, stay positive, and remember, every small step counts. Your English will get better and better. Well, Stella, that brings us to the end of today's episode. Thank you so much to everyone who joined us and took the time to listen. We really appreciate you being here.
Yes, thank you so much. We hope you enjoyed the conversation and found the tips useful for your English learning journey. Remember, every little bit of practice helps you get closer to fluency.
If you liked today's episode, don't forget to subscribe or follow our podcast so you never miss a new episode. We have so many exciting topics coming up that will help you improve your English step by step.
That's right. And if you want, please share this podcast with your friends or family who are also learning English. The more, the merrier. We want to help as many learners as possible.
Before we go, here's a little teaser for our next episode. We'll be talking about how to build your English vocabulary fast. Easy tips you can use every day. It's going to be packed with practical advice and fun exercises.
Sounds great. So make sure you subscribe and join us next time. Until then, keep practicing your English every day. Be patient with yourself, and most importantly, enjoy the learning process.
Thanks again for listening. We'll see you in the next episode. Take care and keep speaking English.
Bye, everyone.